African Fight Fam? It's your boy JB back again with another episode of the African Fighters podcast. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a full house. Ladies and gentlemen, you know how we do it. Starting with the most important person on social media, that is the person that has the most followership here, racking over 500,000 people following him across all social media platforms from Zimbabwe by the way of South Africa and the way of Miami. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the answer, the Cinderella man. It is Temba.
What's up, my brother? How are you?
Oh, man, we thank God, Temba. We are all right. We are all right. Okay, going by that hierarchy of followership, ladies and gentlemen, he is currently in London, England. Ladies and gentlemen, this is his maybe 20th appearance here on the African Fighters podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, it's none other than my boy, King James, president of Israel Adesanya fan club. Ladies and gentlemen, what's up, my brother? How are you doing?
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here. Always glad to be here. Thank you.
Okay, my people. The next person in the hierarchy of followership, ladies and gentlemen, it is your favorite boy. It is that boy that constantly has problems with internet connection. Ladies and gentlemen, it is none other Lagos, Nigeria. I must add, singer-songwriter, in case you don't know, Toby Aderemi Latoma. How you doing, my brother?
What's up? I'm good, bro. How you doing?
Great. There he is, and boom, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Four of us. If maybe we get Ola join us, we'll just add him and we continue cracking. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to Christopher Graham. He's charged up, ready to be part of this conversation. And please feel free in the comment section in the live chat. Please feel free to drop in your comments, suggestions, topics, whatever you wanna. You guys can even chat with each other down there. We don't bloody care. So, guys. We are on audio format. If in case you missed the video, please feel free to follow us across all everywhere you get your podcast from. And before I'm gonna introduce the topics, let me just put this one out. Amole says, "Why you gotta do Toby dirty every time?" Toby, do you have a defense? It's not my fault. It's not my fault. Toby's internet connection is.
It's not Amole. It's not Amole.
What's his name?
That's how to pronounce his name.
How do I pronounce his name? How do I pronounce Oluyinka Amole? Is that it?
Amoli.
Okay, Amoli. Okay, gotcha. Okay, guys. I'm just quick reminder. We are on Patreon. Please support us on Patreon. Pledge any amount, and we continue giving you this content. But all right, we are going to be talking about huge events yesterday. A lot of talking points from what actually happened in the co-main event, Usman versus Chimaev, and also some hints about UFC Africa, some new developments there. We're going to take our predictions of Francis Ngannou versus Tyson Fury, which, by the way, is next weekend, guys. And a lot of talking points. Okay. First of all, Usman versus Khamzat Chimaev. I want to go last, but I want to hear how you guys scored the fight. I'm going to go with Temba first. Temba, when you were watching this fight, how did you score it, please?
Hello, the African fighters. My brother. I told you this last week that I will go with Chimaev any day for this fight. I'm a little bit surprised that he didn't finish Usman. But yeah, man, the results were what was supposed to happen. Chimaev winning that fight. Usman did look good in all honesty, and I feel like under a full camp it's a different fight. But however, we cannot say this. What if if you sign a dotted line to fight somebody, whether it's on short notice or on full camp, it's your responsibility as a man to own up to the results. And you cannot have both. You cannot have excuses and results. You have to have one.
All right. So no excuses. But Temba, how did you score the fight?
I scored it the way the judges scored it.
So you would say 10-8 first round, second round Usman, third round Chimaev?
Yeah, I would score it that way. I would even score all of the rounds to Chimaev, but
Oh,
yeah, I would even score all
okay.
the rounds to Chimaev.
Okay. So in that case,
I
that
would
would
score
have
them
been
10
a
9, 10 9,
30,
10 9, 10 9 all the way through.
30-27, that is. How about you, Toby? Toby, you are making faces. How did you score the fight? Hey, if I say
Oh,
if I say bad connection now, you
I
people
scored
will
round
be.
one.
Go ahead.
No, I didn't know you. I didn't know you called my name. Okay, so I scored round 1, 10-8 for Khamzat, and I think Usman won the next two rounds, round 2 and round 3. Just because I think on the feet he dominated the fight, like he was clearly the better guy standing up. And the few times that Khamzat took him down in those 2 rounds, there wasn't any threat. It was just a takedown. So for me, I think the fight was a draw. I give it 10-8 round 1 to Chimaev and then the other 2 rounds to Usman.
Okay, so Toby thinks it's a 28-28 fight. King Demola, how about you?
Interestingly, right? Logic over emotions, right? I had to sense check that I am not being biased because he's my Nigerian brother. But while I was watching that fight, clearly round one was a 10-8. I think I posted it on MMA group. But the second round, I think Usman had that round, and the third round, to be very honest, I think that round was razor close, right? So that takedown, I think you could make an argument that Chimaev stole that round, the third round with the takedown. But the thing is, he did not do much with the takedown. So I still would score that round to Usman because he had more significant strikes. He had more damage in the third round. So it's a 28-28 from my own scorecard. So it's a draw. And
Hey.
to chip in, right, if that fight were to be a 5-round fight, it would have taken a different complexion.
We are not doing
Of
what
the
ifs.
defense,
We are not doing what
right?
ifs.
So um,
We are not doing what
it's a
ifs.
draw. It's a draw, but then a win for Chimaev is good for business. So we leave with that.
Yeah. Okay, so my own was as I was watching the fights when it got to the judges, right? When they were about to announce it, I was not even being like at the edge of my seat waiting for them to give Usman the fight. I had already registered in my head that regardless of a 10-8 in the first round, because of that lengthy ground control that Chimaev had in the third round, I kind of feel like we had to give it to him, even though one of the judges gave Usman that third round. But yes, I think Chimaev won round 1 and round 3. Um, so obviously, uh, this is not a popular opinion. A lot of people, Usman has gathered a lot of fans, mostly because he was the underdog coming in this fight. Usman has been one of the most hated fighters in the UFC for a long time. But this fight, because he came in the underdog, and a lot of people now are kind of like waiting to see the downfall of Chimaev. They were hopping on the Usman wagon. And to be fair, with the fact that Usman came in short notice and he was a welterweight, you can see there is a strength and size difference. I would say he did put a good account of himself. But yes, we're still going to stay on that. Before I go, Tumbosun says that a takedown with nothing on it. Uh, well, yeah, that third round takedown
Yeah, nothing,
was not very
nothing.
eventful, was it? Would you agree, Temba?
What, me?
Yes, that third round takedown by Chimaev was not very eventful for him, was it?
Yeah, but
But there was like over a minute of control time, yeah.
Yeah, but it was not just control. It was control leading up to something. He was trying for something. So you cannot just take away that,
Mm.
like it's effective striking, firstly, and you have to take down the guy and you have to do something with it. Um, it is your responsibility as a man to get up when another man is on top of you instead of trying to punch. Only that Sharapov won because he was on his back making damage, real damage from the back, and he had already did some damage from standing. Whereas Usman didn't do any damage standing. He was touch and moving around. It was almost like he was just in there to make sure he does not get hurt. move around, because like you've lost the first round very badly. You go out there guns blazing in the second round. That's how I think he should have done. Go out there and make sure there's no doubts about who won the second round and the third round. So being a champion, a guy that was a champion in the past, you need to be effective in certain things. And
Yes,
uh,
I agreed. Usman did say he's because of the losses is a bit doubting himself in the confidence realm, confidence part of fighting. But I'm still going to stick on Usman, right? After the fight, in some of the post-fight interviews, he did mention something interesting about what his plans are. And from what he's saying is like he had enjoyed the weight cut in 185, if the fact that he had never felt this way before, and he wants to stay in 185, and he threw out a proposal out there. He said that how about UFC 300 and he should fight Dricus du Plessis. Well, he was like, well, if Chimaev is going to fight Strickland for the title, I should fight Dricus in the co-main. Which for him, it does make sense for him, but does that make sense for Dricus? I will go to you, Temba. What do you think?
that fight does not make sense for Dricus.
Mm.
Dricus has already earned his spot as a title contender to be number one, to be the champion there. I tell you this, I will keep on repeating this. I think Dricus beats all of them. I don't know about Chimaev. Chimaev is the toughest fight for Dricus. But who knows what happened in their training camp when Dricus went to Florida to train with Usman. Apparently, they sparred or trained together, and Usman claims that Dricus knows what I can do. So I don't know about that, but yeah, from what I watched yesterday, Dricus destroys all of them.
Well, you see, that is why it is amazing to have Temba here. I had no idea that Draco spent some time down there in Florida with them Usman. So,
Dricus is trained there, and they've trained together.
oh yeah,
So
he trains with Henry Hooft when he comes around, doesn't he?
yeah, and they train together. I think sometime, and they know each other. I don't know, but training and fighting is different. What I saw from the fights yesterday, Dricus destroys Kamaru. He finishes Kamaru. If Dricus gets on Kamaru's back like that, it's done. It's over. You can make a celebration for that. If Dricus gets on someone's back, Dricus is strong. Not just strong where it's like he's really, really strong.
He's a really big middleweight, isn't he?
Yeah, it is a really big middleweight. But however, man, coming back to your question, brother, yeah, I don't think the fight makes sense for Dricus, but it is actually, I think in the division, I think it will be the easiest fight to just say, let Clement say, hey, I'm the guy. You should have given me this opportunity. So I'll take that fight also based on just the accolade of saying I've beaten a former champion, who is Kamaru, and the legend that he is. Like Kamaru is a legend regardless of the results that are happening right now. He's a legend in the sports, future Hall of Famer. So for that sake, I think it's a good fight for Dricus in that sense of fight.
I kind of agree, and also with the fact that Dricus might him fighting Usman and finishing Usman would only do him good, in the sense that if he thinks about it this way, the reason why he kind of got overlooked for the Strickland fight was because he is not as much of a big draw as Chimaev versus Strickland would be, or as Usman versus Strickland would be. But this is a chance for him to be like, I'm here and I'm him. Most especially if we see some drama getting into this fight, like this Africa versus Africa situation. If that goes into this fight and he fights Usman and he feels like he beats Usman, then I think this would do more good for him. Also, we should not forget that Dana White did kind of hint at the fact that they were disappointed that he did not take his title shot when he was given the title shot to Adesanya. So maybe him fighting Usman might not be a very bad idea, because I'm pretty sure he's very, very confident in winning that fight. But Toby, I beg, make a case for me of Usman beating Dricus.
Ah, I feel like that's the hardest question on planet Earth right now. If I'm being honest, ah, brother, I'm going to like have to leave you on an island in this one. I don't think Usman can beat Dricus right now. Um,
Ah,
Why
I'm
not?
serious. Like Usman is Usman right now. I feel like he needs a fight that he can win. Right, he's lost his last three. If you put him in the ring with a hungry, frustrated Dricus, that has something to prove right now. Because I feel like Dricus is angry. Like he just needs to catch somebody that is going to pour that anger on. So Usman should avoid all those kind of people. I think how many fights does Usman have left in him until his career is over? I don't know. 4, maybe 5.
yeah. So
I
since
don't think you
since
should waste
Toby, since you
one of
cannot
those.
make a case, here is Tumbosu making a case for you. Tumbosu says true, but Dricus would never shoot like Chimaev. Then, so that first round with Bronson has me questioning things still. Well, that Bronson fight, have you forgotten that 2 more fights happened after that? Have you forgotten about what he did to Robert Whittaker?
Robert,
Tumbosun,
And
don't
Dricus does
sleep
not
on
have to
one.
shoot. Dricus does not have to shoot to beat Kamaru.
Yeah, I think
Dricus
striking
can beat
wise,
Kamaru standing.
yeah, because K1 kickboxer prior to him joining MMA, he's really the full package, isn't he?
I think he does not even have to shoot for a takedown to beat Kamaru. If they trade like that, Dricus hits harder. Then he's
How
faster.
about how about Usman being on the offensive wrestling? What do you think, Demola?
To be honest, right? For both fighters, I think that fight is a high risk, low reward fight.
Mm.
I'm a finance guy. Numbers. I think in numbers. For both of them, it's high risk. Anybody can win. Actually, that's my opinion, my personal opinion, because these are two guys that have trained together, right? And then with a full camp and proper motivation on both sides, any man can take the day. Who expected that Strickland was going to beat Adesanya, right? So there are two human beings, two pro athletes, coming in, and they both have that's a good chance. So probably
Well,
might
well,
say
well,
60-40, right?
Demola,
But then Usman has a strong
Demola,
possibility of winning that fight.
Demola.
Trust me.
Basically, I ask you, well, the question is, how will Usman beat Dricus? And
How
you are
does he get
going,
it? How does he get it
no.
done?
But the way you are talking is like, it's a game of fighting. Anybody can beat anybody. So that means that you are actually doubting the potential of Usman beating Dricus too.
I am not doubting it. 100%. I am not doubting it. He can get the job done on a good day.
How?
Trust me. So the thing is, I feel like he just needs to survive round one the same way he survived Chimaev. Usman has got great cardio, right? And then if he's able to drive. So the thing is, I've actually not seen Dricus's cardio. So I don't train with him, right? I see him, dusting guys, destroying guys, round one, round two, round three. But then I have not seen Dricus being taken into deep waters. I have not seen Dricus being taken into the championship rounds. And Kamaru is a championship fighter. So I deal with numbers, I deal with data. If I have not been able to get enough data to analyze this person, I cannot go out and give you information on what I don't have data on. So for me, I have enough data on
Okay.
Kamaru. I've seen
Oh,
him
you made
fall
you made
deep
you
rounds,
made a good
and
case,
then
Demola. You made
I
a
think
good
he
case.
can
But
cardio.
here we have Scrap Legends. Shout out Scrap Legends. He says Usman will beat Drake. He says Usman will beat Dricus. Dricus is hittable and lost around to Darren Till. Darren Till is a very, very experienced kickboxer. So don't
yeah.
be surprised. He is smarter than Dricus and he will mix it better. Well, if it comes to fight IQ, Usman has one of the best fight IQ. He knows how to mix it up a bit. But against Chimaev, he was comfortable accepting takedowns, right? And
No, he didn't
that
accept. He
only
didn't. He
Yeah,
didn't accept
I don't think he
takedowns. He
accepted it. He
accepted
just
being
didn't have
on his
anything
back
to
for a
do.
bit.
yes, he did accept takedowns easily. He wasn't putting a fight too much for the
No,
like in the
no, no,
first
no,
round.
no, no, no. He was taken down forcefully. He was forced to be taken down, but he had to accept the ground game. Because
Mhm.
one thing about these wrestlers, they don't do a lot of jiu-jitsu, and that was wrestling and jiu-jitsu from Chimaev. So I don't think he accepted the takedowns. He just accepted being on his back and staying there for a little bit longer.
Oh, sorry to
Mm.
interrupt you, Themba, right? Would you agree with me that he actually stayed composed on the ground? Like typically, many fighters, when they're taken down, they start to freak out and then they start to, take wrong positions. But Kamaru was, still well calculated. He was calm, he was composed, and he was quite calculated while he was, being dominated in that first round. And I give it to him. I give him his props.
I can't hear you loud. I don't know why I can't hear you.
Okay,
Well,
I said,
I
do
just
you agree with
there's a
me?
funny. Yeah, go ahead.
Like, do you agree with me that Kamaru was able to stay composed, right?
Okay.
While he was on the ground with Chimaev? Did he stay composed? Did he do a good job staying composed while he was on the ground with Chimaev? Yes or no?
I don't know if it's me, but yeah, just 1 second. Just need to sort out this.
Okay.
Bring me,
Oh,
So
bring me my
JB,
headphones.
can you translate the message, please?
I can hear.
well,
I can hear everyone else, but not you.
Okay.
okay. So
JB,
basically,
please.
what he's saying is, would you agree that Usman was very composed under, like when he was taken down on the ground, he was very composed,
No,
and he
that was the
didn't.
reason why I'm saying. That is the reason why I'm telling you. He accepted being on his back, thinking that he's composed. It is not.
Mhm.
There's no composure if a guy that is good like that is on top of you. You have to get it back up. And that composure is a failure for him in the yesterday's fight. You should not be composed
Yeah,
when you.
I did think that he did accept a lot in the first round, and that took away that basically caused the 10-8 situation. He did accept even in the fifth round. Well, this is me maybe thinking because I know Usman has bad knees, and everybody knows that Usman has bad knees. Wrestling is very, very daunting on the knees. Most wrestlers, when they start getting injured, it starts from the legs, in the knees, basically. Do you think that Usman is no longer as dominant as he used to be in the wrestling because his legs or his knees are not what they used to be?
Is that a question for me?
Well, I just threw it out there. This is just me thinking.
What are you thinking?
I was thinking that maybe his legs was the reason why he wasn't very, very explosive
There's no
wrestling.
excuse for losing a fight to a guy like Chimaev. Accept it and say, you know what, he was the better
Yeah.
man on the night. He beat me, and I will learn from it. And maybe, hopefully, I won't take fights on short notice that I'm not ready for. And yeah, I'm coming now. Just 1 second. I need to sort out some stuff.
Oh boy. Scrap legends. Scrap Scrap legends, yes, out
No
here.
way, no way.
Dude. Okay. Somebody Farouk says this, and then Scrap says
No,
Usman
not
accepting
me, not
takedown
me,
is
not me.
smart. Oh, now you.
Now why I did laugh that
Us-
time?
Usman says accepting the takedown is smart. Everyone else fought off the takedown and got finished. Look at Holland. All right,
Exactly,
let's
exactly.
let's move away from this conversation, okay? Um. All right, so here is another case we can make for Dricus fighting for Strickland for the title. Apparently, after the fight, it came out that from Chimaev's corner that Chimaev broke his wrist in the first round, hence why he couldn't grapple or wrestle in the second and the third. So that means that if Chimaev actually has a broken hand, he might likely not be ready to fight Strickland very soon. He might likely end up being sidelined for a long time. So do you think this is where Dracos will get his title shot? Toby, you go first.
Uh, I think we just need to wait and see. I think the UFC really wants the Khamzat versus Strickland fight, just so they can get the belt out of Strickland's hand to somebody that is more sellable. But I think if his hand is fine, I think they do the fight. Yeah, so I don't think there will be in any rush to give Dricus the title opportunity.
How about you, Demola? Demola, you're on mute, oh. Okay, you
We
muted
can't hear
yourself. Let me
you.
unmute you. Demola, we cannot hear you.
Cannot
Can't
hear you.
unmute. Their mic isn't connected. Your microphone isn't connected, Demola. All right. So, Temba, before you went, we were talking about the fact that Chimaev's corner mentioned that he broke his wrist in the first round, and that's why he couldn't wrestle or grapple in the second and third round. So now, if Chimaev actually has a broken wrist, do you think he might end up spending some time away, and this might be Dricus's chance to step up and fight Strickland for the title?
Yeah, that can be a possibility. I think on the January card, especially now, they don't have the main event for the UFC Canada because it's in jeopardy because what's his name, Volkanovski got knocked out, and I think he might get a 6-month suspension. And they might be looking to get a main event for that Canada card. So I feel like yeah, that card needs a main event, and the only available option right now would be either you get Sean Strickland to defend his title, and the only available option that would be there would probably be what's the name, Dricus, and or it can be what you call it. It can be Islam versus Justin Gaethje in Canada. It might be that.
Oh,
It
no,
might be that because that
that'll
main
be
event
great.
in Canada now is in jeopardy. So they might look to have a main event, or they might put Elia Topuria versus, Max Holloway.
Max Holloway for the interim title.
Yeah, but it's not cool because Max Holloway will keep on killing contenders, and nobody's gonna be interested in the fourth fight.
Nobody is. Well, it's not gonna. I don't.
So
So I think if the UFC accepts to do that, they are probably looking for a reason to justify another Max Holloway versus Volkanovski fight. And with Volkanovski getting knocked out like that, do you think that that's going to be the beginning? Because Volkanovski is 36, isn't he? So that would
Oh
be.
yeah, that knockout is the beginning of the end as well. Like I feel like being honestly, I don't know who did I speak to a long time ago. I said Volkanovski is very very susceptible to a left head kick. I've said this before. I can't remember to who or where, but I've said that before. Volkanovski is very. There's two things. All you have to do is to lift your knee up or throw a left head kick. For some reason, I said it, and like I even said, I can't remember. I think I was back in Africa when I said, if you throw the head kick, there's something there, and it should be a left head kick. Is always open for that left head kick, and now people will realize that. Most of these guys will realize that, and I feel like the activity thing is good, but it's also a bad thing because you don't have time to actually get better as a fighter before the next fight. And yeah, this can be a problem. If he wants to turn around quickly, it can be a problem. If I was him, if I would have been in his corner or people around him, I would ask for him to fight probably in May, April next year instead of trying to come back very soon, because now the guys that he is potentially going to fight are going to be hard hitters, and they've got potential of kicking too. And now they also see an opening of how to beat this guy, and there's a possibility that can happen. But coming back to your question of Dricus having to get a title shot, I think this is an opportunity. But I don't think Chimaev's hand is broken, honestly. I saw some aftermath with Kiderov, that guy from Chechnya. I saw the whole videos and stuff like that. It didn't look like he was in pain or anything. I think he's already in Chechnya. Within like hours, he was already in Chechnya with all the reception or whatsoever. And he didn't look like he was in a cast. So, and him having a problem to get a visa to come to, I think from what I've heard, he's having a visa to come to
the US.
The USA. The best option that is for him, that is out there for
UFC
him
Canada.
would be to fight in UFC Canada. So I think him and Sean Strickland are going to fight in UFC Canada.
All right.
I am back.
And according to the calendar, because UFC like making a big spectacle of their like milestone events, so UFC 300 would probably happen around April, right? The last time they had the other marquee one was UFC 200, and that was like when they brought back Brock Lesnar versus Mark Hunt, and then we knew all the drama with USADA and all that happened. So I think maybe in the next coming weeks we probably should start putting together our UFC 300 super card. Hey Temba, what do you think? What do you
Yeah,
guys think?
the card is there already, and you know who's going to headline that card. It's going to be Conor McGregor.
It's gonna be Conor McGregor,
It's
so
going to
that
be
means
Conor
that
McGregor, and
there will be no title fight on it then, because like the UFC like doing that when there's no title
now
fight, they'll
they'll
just
put him as a main event. Co-main event probably will be Sean O'Malley versus Chito Vera. Yeah, I think they'll put it that way, or Sean O'Malley main event and Conor McGregor and Chandler second co-main event.
how would Sean O'Malley will not even agree. He will
You
not
know,
be like, nah.
but regardless, he needs fans. Sean O'Malley needs fans, and what's a better way to steal fans away from a guy that he has been at the top, bro? Like the UFC knows what they're doing. They know what they're
Bro,
doing.
we were looking at the number of pay-per-view buys in the history of UFC. We were trying to see if UFC broke 1 million this year. They did not. They haven't had any good good selling pay-per-view up to 500k, I think, so far, because it takes a while before they publish these things. According to records now, there isn't any 500k buys in pay-per-view in the year of 2023. That's why Dana White wanted Conor McGregor to fight in December, hence why the USADA thing. So it would be really interesting to see what that card will look like. I don't think Sean O'Malley would fight in the main event while McGregor is on the card.
No, no,
And
no. He won't fight on the main event, but I think they will put Sean O'Malley is definitely going to fight on the UFC 300 or on the co-main event of Conor McGregor, because
mm,
he's the next big thing in terms of
no,
like
but
since
the
start.
UFC have never done this before. They've never had a main event, a non-title main event, and then
That's what
put.
makes it interesting. That's why you're gonna buy the pay-per-view to watch that. So
Yeah,
the
well,
UFC is a machine, my brother. So this is what if I'm the businessman that I think they are, I would put Conor McGregor, who is like a kicking dying horse to me, a guy that is
mm.
on his way out. It's a gamble for him to fight Michael Chandler. You might lose to Michael Chandler and never fight again. So why don't you put your next big superstar on his core main event, so that this guy, all the
Can
fans
pass the baton.
can
Right the
all
wave.
go now and support Sean O'Malley instead of a guy
Yeah,
that
but
is.
with Sean O'Malley, yeah, my issue with Sean, I'm not a hater of Sean. I feel like he can't hold that title for too long in that division.
He will
Why?
hold it for a while.
Why?
You fight. I don't know. Actually, I don't know, because Chito Vera has beaten him once, so I think Chito will beat him
Yeah,
again.
I think
To be
he's
honest, I
he's
do
not going
not
to
think
beat him.
Chito beats him again. All due respect, I do not think. I'll put my money
Who
on
are
it.
you respecting?
I think he beats him again, but they are going to fight at UFC 300. That's a definite.
Okay,
Okay,
let's wait
okay.
and see. May God keep
All
us
right.
alive.
All right. I swear, Temba is a fight nerd, man. Just for it is. Okay, guys. Something interesting happened in the post-fight press conference or the pre-fight press conference where Dana White was talking about the Arabs, right, and expanding because someone mentioned Saudi Arabia. The UFC are going to do a fight night in Saudi Arabia, and then Conor started talking about they're looking at places like Egypt and Morocco. I was like, wait. We are jumping to Africa territory now, aren't we? So now, the discussion of UFC Africa has been ongoing forever. It's not. There's never any progress. But now, because of the Arabs, would likely get UFC Africa in Egypt or Morocco. But it could be one of those things that Kona is, that Dana is just talking about, as he always talks about stuff. But how excited are you guys? Oh boy, Toby, don't disappear. How excited are you guys about the potential of UFC in North Africa, Egypt, and Morocco? That is. I'll go to Demola. Let me ask you first.
Uh, the prospects. Egypt, Morocco, yeah, they seem to have good infrastructure, but to be very honest, right, I think if UFC Africa should happen proper, it should be between South Africa and Nigeria. Just a personal opinion. it should be between South Africa and Nigeria. And for reasons, well known to all of us, South Africa have the structure, you have the EFC, you have educated MMA fans in South Africa. In Nigeria, you have the population, you have venues
Yes,
you can turn into, a
we've.
UFC
I don't want us to. I don't want us to even go
thing.
down this conversation.
So
We've done it so many times.
either
We've
South
done it
Africa
so
or
many times.
Nigeria, it will not
No,
make
no.
sense.
Well, it would likely happen in Egypt, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. If it happens in Egypt, a lot of things. There's a lot of potential here. So if this thing happens in Egypt or Morocco, right? Then it would be easier for local African talents to actually get on the card. It would be easier we would likely get a few fighters from Africa that would actually get signed by the UFC to just fill up the card. And we were talking with Temba in the DMs, and we're talking about who might actually benefit, which of the fighters in Africa would actually benefit from something like this. And Temba, I want to hear from you. What's your thoughts generally about this new development of Egypt and Morocco? And if it actually happens, do you think it's going to be positive for African for MMA?
Who would ever thought that the first event of UFC Africa would happen in Egypt? Firstly, nobody, right? It
Mm-hmm.
was not in the loops for anybody. But having that said, the Arabs have the money, brother, and the
Mm-hmm.
UFC is a business, and whoever pays, they get. And I feel like it is actually, if you hear it's coming out of the mouth from the boss, it's probably done deal. So I think there's gonna be a fight night in the next year in Egypt. Um, does it really, 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 like, without sounding any kind of funny, it does not really, really, really relate, to what I'm saying, but I can't go into detail with that because you know how it is in Africa when we talk about Africa, when people think of Africa, what they think. So it's a little bit of a controversy there. If it happens where the bossman said it might be happening, so it's gonna yeah, out of all the countries, why did he mention Egypt? It means that it's happening in Egypt. So, yeah, definitely it is happening in Egypt. And yeah, what's funny enough, yeah, like I think there will be a lot of controversy around it. Why Egypt? Because like a lot of African countries, the guys from the northeast of, I think it's the east of Africa, they consider themselves sometimes not to be really, really, from the continent, and it's considered to be Middle East. So it's gonna be a tricky one. I would have wished it to be in another country that is like dense African population where it's like
But
the guys that
I think maybe if this actually happens in Egypt, I don't think the UFC will brand it as UFC Africa. I don't think they
I
would
think
do
it
that.
will be still Arabia.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I
because
think it
I
would.
listened, I listened to Dana White, right? And then he was talking about the UFC, Arab UFC, right? And then he said specifically that they're looking to expand into Morocco and Egypt. He wasn't specific, right? So it looks like something that is still work in progress, is still in the works, right? So we can't be so
No, no, no.
definitive
If you
about
hear
that.
that man talking, you must know it's a done deal. If he's
Yeah.
mentioning a name of a country like he did yesterday, you must know it's a done deal.
Yeah,
You
but in
won't
terms of the
you won't put
branding,
something out there that is not going to happen.
in terms of the branding, he did not, term it UFC Africa. It's UFC Middle East and Morocco,
Yeah,
Egypt, are
it would likely
Arab
stay at that.
countries. Yeah,
It
they're
would
Arab
likely
countries. It's not
stay
going
at
to be
that.
that
But
branding.
uh, w- w- well, I cannot think of any Egyptian fighter in UFC right now. I
No, there
know
is
that
no
one of the
any besides Slim. Slim, the guy. Oh no, Slim is not from Egypt. There were two guys signed from
oh
Egypt
no,
actually.
Slim has moved to Bellator, hasn't he?
Yeah,
Um,
he has, but no, there were two Egyptian fighters in the UFC. I know this.
yeah, but they've got. But in the talk of Morocco, one of the Moroccans fought yesterday in Abu Azaitar. Or though the Azaitar brothers were fighting in the UFC, but lately they've been losing. Abu Azaitar fought in middleweight, I believe, last night, and he lost by unanimous decision. But hey, all right, let's quickly leave the MMA. Let's go quickly to
No, I
this
didn't answer your
gimmicky.
question. Who are the potential guys to be signed to the UFC?
Oh crap! Yes, you didn't.
Yeah, you gotta be programmed, my brother. The guy that can be signed, that will be signed when the UFC comes to Africa, from the top of my head right now. Without any big buys or anything, I think it would be fair to sign Ige Cabeza. Based on his age, he's young. Ige Cabeza is I think
He's a legend.
he's 28 or something. 28 years. That's young. We considering his record, that's very young as well. He's got a lot
Yo,
of fights, a lot
what?
of
Igu
finishes.
Cabeza is not even 30 yet. I feel like he's been around for a while.
Yeah, but Ige has been fighting since he was very young. So Ige will be the best signing there as well. I think if Mark Hume wins his next fight, I saw like something like he's fighting in December, which I think he will. Peace is still a beginner in the MMA world where it's like it's a given that Mark Hume is gonna win. I think, and I think Mark Hume is a good signing, and I would think also who else? Who
I
else? I
think
think like
when
I've got
when
fighters
they
from the Demat Pena, I think he can get signed there. But
mm,
considering now the age a little bit, it's a little bit tricky. But I think it would be fair to
I
sign
think
him.
I think
Uh,
Demat Pena is just a matter of time. He would probably fight in the UFC.
yeah, yeah. No, I think, yeah. I think that should be happening as well because, the guy
Mm.
has paid his dues in terms of work and in terms of fighting. I think
And then
that's
yeah, he's got the accolades as well. I think it's
yeah,
just a
man.
matter of time. We probably would get to see him in one of these new UFC Paris cards. If UFC Paris comes along, we'll
Yeah,
probably see
yeah.
him in the
No,
undercard.
the UFC has to sign. Like he's one of the guys, and he's got a great story too, man. If he can manage to tell
Mm.
his story to the world, he's got a great story. And who's the fourth guy that I was thinking from the top of my
Ah,
head?
can I ask how your relationship with Demat Pena is now? Are you guys cool now?
Oh, it's non-existent for me. From my side of view, I don't have a relationship with him anymore. But like, I am not biased in terms of like, if somebody is worth or something right now, I will
Hmm.
say it, man. I don't have any jealousy, or I don't have any. I don't have any. If you feed your family, my brother,
Hmm.
and you're not taking from my plate to feed your family, it does not concern me. I'm gonna be happy for you because if you're trying to take from my plate to your plate now, then there's a problem. So I feel like his shine does not take
No
my shine.
problem.
I've got more shine than a lot of people from that region. So like I should focus on that.
Okay.
So yeah, there's no relationship,
All
but
right. All right. In the list. Let's get
no,
back to the list.
number
Yeah.
two, number four, the last two guys, like I have said, Ige, I've said Markium, I've said the Mad, and now number four from the circuit, that the guys that I think they should be signed, man. That need to be signed automatically without having to go through the contender series. There's a kid, I don't know, man, but the thing is, the other guys mess up their records. The fighting records. These are the guys with clean records, better records. The other guys have
Hmm.
got they've messed up
Nicholas
their
Hindi.
records, their fighting records, and they're a little bit dirty right now. And if your record is a little bit dirty and tarnished before the UFC really, really don't want to
Hmm.
sign you because they
Yeah.
don't want they
Oh,
don't want someone
remember, how
that's
about how about that Black Panther kid that just won like the interim title in the EFC for, I think that's
yeah,
is
he's
it a
he's
lightweight?
entertaining. Only
Is
that's where
that
I was
Terence
about to go
Valelo?
as well. Like on
Yeah.
entertainment value, he can be signed, but on the experience level, not yet. Not
Mm.
yet. He needs another year of fighting because in the UFC, once you are in there, you can be eaten. I think that was the downfall for. Yeah, I don't want to go there, but yeah, I feel like needs a little bit more experience. He's 22 or something like that. Let him yield.
Mm.
Choose good fights. I've told him as well in the inboxes. I've said to him, good fights, keep fighting, get more experience. Because once you're in the UFC, you have to swim. You
Oh
cannot
boy,
you
it's a
cannot come in
different
and learn
ball
how
game.
to fight. So I don't know the other two guys outside. It's Fayez Jacobs, but his record is a little bit messy right now.
Yeah, it is.
He's got good fighting style. He's violent, and I think it's what they
And
look
and
for.
he's an entertainer as
He's
well.
an entertainer. He knows how to
Mm.
entertain the fans, and that's what they look
Mm.
for. And he just accepts like the only thing is his record. And there's a kid, Ngostin Debele.
Mm.
Gostin Debele is still young, and I think if he wins his next fight, he will be one of those guys that they should sign too. Violent, entertaining himself, because the industry is full of good fighters. There's many good fighters, but there's less few entertainers, and there's less guys that know how to tell a story.
Well, Temba, you tell me, yeah. I think it's one thing for UFC to sign a fighter from Africa, but it's another thing for them because 90% of the UFC events happen in the US anyways. But it's another thing for them to be able to come into the US and get fights. So in cases like that, what happens to a fighter? Obviously, a fighter cannot stay away without fighting
Or
because
in
that's how
cases
he
like
makes
that,
his
they will
money
get you. The UFC will get you to
to the
to
US.
fight in America. They will get things started, but I think like there's also this stigma that it's hard to get a visa for the USA from Africa. So that's
Mhm.
why they probably hesitate a little bit, which is very true. It's hard to get a visa to come here, but regardless of what you are doing, it's a little bit hard to get a visa because you know how our people be. We come and we don't go back. And yeah, man, it's a little bit tricky, but
Well,
they will fight 3 times a year, definitely. Everybody's gone. We are the only ones left, me and Toby.
Goodness, I am not gone.
I put the camera on Toby on purpose because
Yes.
I
No,
Oh
noticed.
boy.
yeah, man, it's gonna happen. I think those guys will be signed in the next year. Um, Sooner or later, they will be signed. But also, yeah, they need to make a personality, and they need to be able to
Mhm.
tell a story, and they need to be able to. Fires Jacobs definitely. If his record was not really like the way it is right now, I
Oh
think
yeah,
I think that
I
kid.
loved I loved the first time I saw Faiz fight was the reason I actually watched him fight was because he wrote on his body, "Dana, watch my fight" or some something
Yeah, and
crazy like
Sylvester
that.
beat him.
And Sylvester beat him. Yeah, that was the first time I was like, "Oh, okay, let me pay attention to this guy." That was really really cheeky of him. I don't know if you
Yeah,
guys remember, but yeah, that happened. Were you in South Africa at that time, Temba?
I was Sylvester was training in my gym. I cornered Sylvester for that fight.
Okay. So, so you did see that. All right, guys. Let's talk about. Eesh. Okay, let's show love to JP Bice, guys. So JP Bice recently posted on his social media that he is going to be, or he has been released by the UFC. So it's sad to see JP Bice part ways with the UFC. He had four super high level opponents. Not a single one of them has lost in the UFC since they beat JP. So right now, the four people that JP fought are currently 7-0 in the UFC since their fights with him. These guys were absolute killers. And would you say, well, I'm not going to say the UFC threw him there in with the Sharks, but I would say he has been a bit unlucky in the UFC, and we only wish him all the best. But thoughts about JP Bice leaving the UFC? I'm sorry, guys. Temba has been taking everything away. Uh, Toby, do you want to talk or do you
Because
want
they
to
don't
continue
do their
sniffing?
research. They don't do their research.
You you were talking about guys
Toby,
from your circuit, right? So
wait,
you
wait,
are the
wait.
right
Toby,
man
do you
to
want to talk?
talk
Toby,
about.
do you want to talk about JP Base?
I don't know. I feel like Temba was going to say something about him the last time. He kind of like didn't want to go that way, but I feel like the UFC is full of like guests from everywhere in the world. So
It's a Shark Tank.
saying that he was sharks, I don't know. I feel like a lot of people in the UFC are at a very high level, and I don't think he was just at that level yet. So I feel like maybe it was too soon for him. But yeah, I wish him all the best in his future endeavors, and where he wants to go to from here.
Demola, were you aware that JP Base was released by the UFC?
Definitely, I'm aware. I've followed his career to some extent, and I was expecting that. I think the last time I was on the pod, right, was saying something about, oh, he might have one more fight with the UFC, right? And then I was of the opinion that he very likely would get caught. And the thing is this, I follow Joe Rogan a lot, right? On Joe Rogan's podcast, when he was speaking with this boxer, I think there's Terence Crawford, right? He said something about the UFC fighters and some of them not having good managers, right? Good management. And the thing is this, he says that in the UFC sometimes, fighters get thrown into fights that they are not ready for, right? They are thrown into fighting certain level of opposition, right, that they're not ready for. However, in boxing they're able to better manage fighters, right, to fight the level of opposition that they're at each stage of their career, right? I think that's probably what happened to JP Base, right? He had like a lot of issues, a lot of personal issues, with his relationship and all, right? But then I think if he had better management, right, you can decline a fight. You declining a fight does not mean that you are not a proper fighter, right? You are a professional fighter, not a gangster, right? So I feel with better management, right, he could have had, he could what's the word, mature into that Shark Tank, and things would have gone better. So important, young athletes should ensure to have, proper management that would protect their interest as they grow in the sport. That's just my take on it.
Temba, you are nodding your head, and at some points you were kind of shaking your head. But what
No,
do you?
no, no. He's right. In this
Mm-hmm,
life, in this sport, you need to have a good manager.
mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, man. Yeah, it's a sad story to hear about the JP thing, but it was bound to happen. The UFC has been generous to him, gave him 4 shots, and he. I mean, it happens that you lose. It's just been unfortunate for him, for the kid. I feel bad for him. I feel sorry for him because also with the situation that he was in, with the life situations. I don't know. I don't want to divulge into that stuff because it's his
Yeah.
personal life, bro.
Mm-hmm.
What happened with his life and stuff like that. It's sad, I mean, God bless him, and I hope he rises one day because I feel like he's still young. If he goes on a streak there in Africa, I think he's back in Africa now. If he goes on a streak, winning streak, and he smashes 4 or 5 guys in a row, or 7 guys or 8 guys in a row, we could be seeing him again in the UFC. It's all like once you're out forever. If you go out there and prove yourself and find yourself again, and you don't waste no time, you don't waste no opportunity. You go there and grind and put in the work and smash everybody in your way. Use this as a fuel to rise. And I feel like he can go out there and do that, especially in the African circuit. And but also having that said, having to be the guy that was in the UFC, everybody that you're gonna fight now wants a piece of
Mm-hmm.
you because they feel like I beat you, the UFC will be looking at me, which is not realistic. They will not be looking at me. Only when your manager presents when your manager presents your topology to them, then they will be like, "Oh, you beat a guy that was with us." But having that said, it is a tough situation. But coming back to what my brother has been saying there, it's the right thing to do as an athlete, as an MMA athlete. It's your responsibility to have a manager that is not your fan, firstly, and a manager that is not in there for the money. Because if your manager is in there for the money, you know what? He wants you to fight on every card so that he can get his cut. You understand? And you need a manager that is already well established, that can have a one-on-one talk with you, that can tell you that, hey, brother, listen up. We're not gonna fight uh, until you sort out your stuff, until you sort out your life. Like I'll give my reference in my own situation right now. Why I'm not fighting is because I had a chat with my manager, with the heroes and everybody, and I wanted to fight so badly. Before I came here, I wanted to fight on the 7th of October. When I was still in Africa, and I messaged my manager, it was a possibility, but I went there and I stayed a little bit longer because of the visas for my family that was not out. And my manager straight up said, "Brother, you are not fighting in October. You are not fighting in November." Then I said, "Why?" He says, "It's already mid August, and you are not back in the USA to train, and it's not happening, whether you like it or not." And you get upset as a fighter because we've got ego, but also you got to understand that the manager also has to explain to you why. And I said to him why, and he said to me, because you're not back yet, and it's the reality. And I want you to get better before you fight again, because you are that guy right now, and you need to get better first. And this is a manager that really likes you, that wants you to do well. He's not rushing you to get in there so that he can get his percentage and his money. And I feel like that's the mistake that a lot of fighters do. You need to get a manager that is not in there for the money. And you need to get a right manager that also cares about you, because you can be with a manager that. And also, it's hard for the managers to care about an athlete if they've got 20, 40 athletes. Sometimes with some of the athletes will have to fight each other. But you have also the right to explore and choose. And I don't think JP
Yeah.
had a manager until the end. Right at the end, maybe he had a manager with I think he had Uriah Faber first, and then with Ali Abdulaziz. Ali, his loyalty sticks with the Russian guys. Uriah Faber is a he's a guy that retired from fighting, and the only way that he can stay relevant and in there right now is by managing guys and getting the guys to fight. So he's gonna push you for his sense. So you need a good manager to be able to excel in this sport. You need a manager that is not greedy for the
Okay.
sense, greedy for the money. That just says to you that is also like, hey, you're a fun boy, and I'll be like, yeah, you smash this guy, you smash this guy. My manager tells me it's a tough fight. We're not gonna fight this guy. I put my hands up right now, like I said to my manager when we had the chat like 2 weeks ago. I said, hey, I'm gonna keep training hard, even though they said I'll fight next year. I'll keep training hard. If Vincente Luque pulls out for Ian Gary, I'll fight. I'll step in and fight. He says to me straight up, we are not going to do that fight. I know you can beat him, but we are not going to do that fight no matter what. We are not going to do that fight right now.
That is proper career management.
Yes, he says
It's
we
a
are not going to do
business.
that
Fight is
whether
a
you like it
business.
or
I mean,
not.
they
We are
take
not
it
going to do
like
that fight.
that.
We're going to build it, but we are not going to do that fight. If Vincente Luque pulls out, we are not going to do that fight. He says to me straight. He says, because what happens if, let's say, perhaps something happens, you slip into fall, you will be on the chopping block in the UFC. You don't want to be that guy. We need to manage your career in the right way, and the UFC likes you as a person, and they want to look after you. So this is the reality of this sport. You need guys that are going to guide you and tell the truth,
Why?
that are not going to keep the thing from you. Because my
Mhm.
manager would have said, Vincent, look at main event. Yeah, let's do it. But he said to me straight, we are not going to do that
Okay.
fight.
All right.
And
All right. Demba, if I keep quiet now, we will start talking about things that you probably don't want to talk about. All right. Let's go into well, shout out to JP Bice, wish him all the best. That's where we started, remember guys. Let's talk about well, a lot of people find boxing very boring. I don't know. Temba, how much of a fan of boxing are you?
I don't like boxing. It's a boring
Okay,
sport.
okay.
It's a very corrupt sport, whether it's in
I
Oh
support
yeah,
sports.
you. I
there's
support you on
ah,
this one.
you know when you're talking about like when Demola was talking about fighter management and Terence talking about like picking your fights. I was just thinking about boxing and start padding, because
Yeah,
the most
there's a lot of
ridiculous, the most
padded
ridiculous
records
matchmaking that happens for up and coming
in
fighters
boxing.
happens in boxing, bro. Somebody will be bouncing in a club. You go out to a club and you see a bouncer, and next day you see him on TV fighting boxing just to take an L. Anyways,
No, it's dirty. Boxing is a dirty sport. Everybody involved in boxing is selfish, and I do not. They can come attack me, but that sport is. I'm on the same page with Dana White. Boxing,
well, we saw how Zufa boxing ended up being. Um, Temba, sorry, let me go to Toby. Sorry, Toby has been falling asleep. Toby, let's do this quickly. We are
I'm
getting
here,
to an
bro. I'm
hour.
here.
Predictions for Francis
All
Ngannou
right.
versus Tyson Fury. What round?
I think the fight goes the distance. I think they give everyone a show and Fury wins on decision. I don't think anybody gets
Temba,
knocked out.
sorry, Toby, are you okay? You don't seem okay. Are you sick today?
Yeah, I'm a little bit under the weather, but fine. This phone is ringing.
Oh, okay. You don't have a concert to perform in.
Why are you teasing my man?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I have something for you. At the end of this podcast today, I'm going to play a song by Toby Aderemi, so you guys will understand how talented this brother is. Okay, Toby thinks that the boxing fight Ngannou versus Fury will go the distance and Fury will win by unanimous decision, which obviously, from how you are putting it, is going to be a slugfest. It's going to be very boring. Demola, thoughts
Yeah.
about Ngannou versus Fury? I have Scraps Legends here in the comment. He has something very interesting to say, but Demola, I'll take yours first.
Okay,
Prediction.
interesting. Ngannou versus Fury. Predictions. Come on, logic over emotions. Emotions go for Ngannou. Logic goes for Fury, right? I like to say this: boxing and MMA are two different sports, right?
No, they are
And
the same.
they are two.
I'm joking, of course.
They're combat sports, right? But they are two completely different sports. And this gimmicky boxing fights we've been having, the celebrity boxing fights, Jake Paul and his cohorts, right? They have actually proven that to us. Imagine a Jake Paul versus Anderson Silva, for example. Come on, in the real world, we know what happens, right? But then boxing is a
Bro,
different
leave
sport, and
celebrity boxing. Give us
I
your prediction.
see. I said it already. Fury wins. Fury wins.
Okay, fine.
What round?
All
What
right.
round? What round?
So I think it depends on how far he wants to take it.
Bro, we don't want to hear depends. Tell us what round. I think it's a 10-rounder. It's a 10-round fight. Which round?
It's a 10-rounder.
Yes.
Mystic Mark, heart on. 7th round.
7th round. Okay.
Yeah.
You are very Okay, here is one. Scraps Legend says Francis will drop Fury with a body shot in round 2. Scrap Legends, are you an oracle?
I laugh
On a
in
roll.
Yoruba.
He's on a roll. He's on a roll.
All right,
You see the
Tumbosu
amount
says
of
I've got.
things he has predicted,
Scrap Legend says watch all Ngannou training. Him and Mike Tyson going to the body. Okay. Well, I'll keep you in mind. Scrap Legends, you make sure you be back here next week Sunday to defend what you said today. But Temba, what's in you think? Temba, what's in you think? Temba, you need to speak pidgin to us. What's in you think? What's in you think say go happen?
Pass.
Yeah, okay. All right, Temba passes. Tumbosun says I got Francis in my heart, and he says that is true. He's talking about the body shot. All right, my prediction. Francis Ngannou by knockout, 3rd round. I'm embarrassing. We're embarrassing Temba here.
Namaste.
Okay. All right,
wish you
let's
well.
go. Okay. All right. We're going to do a quick round here, and then in the end, I have some new segments that we want to start. We'll probably get new graphics for the new segment in the end. But okay, here we go. In the UFC lightweight division, Temba, we are back in your world. In the UFC lightweight division, buy or sell these fights. Okay, buy by the sense that I want it. Sell is like sort of like pass. I don't want it. Okay. All right. First, Islam Makhachev versus Charles Oliveira 2.
Sell it.
Okay. Temba says sell.
I am buying that one. I want to see the second one.
But the thing is, Justin Gaethje is getting the next shot. I don't care for Oliveira anymore. But what do you think,
Yeah,
Toby?
that's the fight we want to see. Justin Gaethje versus Charles Oliveira. It will sell more than Charles Oliveira versus Islam. It's like for what?
But definitely after Gaethje, who do you want to see next?
Toby, would you rather see Islam versus Oliveira or Islam versus Gaethje?
Just because I think Islam will beat Gaethje, I feel like Oliveira has a better chance of winning. That's just how I feel personally.
All right, next one. Gaethje versus Gamrot.
The shock on Temba's face is priceless.
Yeah.
Gaethje versus Gamrot for the BMF #1 contender. Buy or sell? Bro, I'm selling this one.
Nobody cares about BMF, to be fair.
I've sold it already.
Nah.
All right.
How about you, Temba?
All right. Scrap Legend says Gaethje will fight Gamrot, Charles will fight Conor, Chandler will cry. Bro, Conor will never fight Charles Oliveira unless Oliveira agrees that he signs on a paper that he will not grapple. Maybe McGregor would accept. I don't think McGregor would fight. Islam won't fight till April. By Scrap Legend and all these rematches, anyways. Okay, next one. Buy or sell. RDA versus Dustin Poirier.
That's a good fight.
This would likely headline a fight night, or would it be like a co-main in a pay-per-view? Because I'll buy this because I don't see what's in sight for Dustin Poirier anymore. Unless he installs himself back in that corner picture, or he decides to move to welterweight, then there will be exciting new matchups. Toby, buy or sell? RDA Dustin Poirier.
Buy. I want to see it. I think it'll be a good fight too.
Demola?
I'll buy it, but I think this should be a fight to pad up a pay-per-view main card, probably a third fight.
Next,
I don't see
Dariush.
that coming.
Dariush versus Sarukian. Bro, I always botch this name. Sarukian.
Yeah.
The MMA nerd and the builder of boreholes. Temba Gorimbo, buy or sell?
I'll watch this fight any day. I want to see Sarukian versus Islam too. So I would buy this one. I'll buy any day.
Okay. Toby, you? Yeah. Toby is very drowsy. Toby, I think we should let you go, because this your look is making me sad. Demola?
Toby.
I think he's having delayed
Temba.
response on his side.
Toby, you need to understand that we've got audiences looking here and they cannot be bored by our looks. We need to be entertaining for the people.
We need to be
so that the program can have more people. We need to put some energy. We cannot come in here and look like owls. Okay, Toby, come. Let's wake up, Baba.
So I'm on Sarukian, right? Versus Benel Dariush. I want to see this. These are two interesting grapplers, right? So I want to see whose will is going to prevail. I'll buy this one. Co-main event.
Chandler versus McGregor.
Fight night.
Well, I think we're already going to see this regardless, eh?
Whether you like it or not, it's gonna happen.
But the thing is, do you really want to see this? Do you really want to see this?
Yo, Scrap Legends just mentioned Dustin Poirier will fight versus Dorino Gilbert Burns, that is, 170. That would be interesting. Dariush should be Taman.
I think theyve got some sort of low-key beef going on.
All right, Dan Hooker versus Green. This is those type of fights that are made for fight nights, like fight night main eventers. This is a typical one.
Yeah, these are there's no potential for Bobby Green to be a title contender. There's no potential for Dan Hooker to be a title contender.
Yeah,
it's just
but they are very popular. So yes, let's throw them in the main event of a fight night. All right, Turner versus Moicano.
Chilling Turner.
Yeah, that's a good fight.
Toby,
I'll buy this one. I will buy this one. I would like to see who, that both the young guys, and I think, yeah.
All right, we got two more to go. Prevova versus St. Dennis.
My boy Prevela, I want to watch this fight. I can't wait. I actually wanted to go to New York and watch this fight. We'll see.
Okay.
I'm buying this.
Drew Dober versus Dawson.
Yeah, it's a good fight. I would buy that for my boy Dober. So, yeah.
Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for buy and sell. Thank you so much again. Shout out to Christopher Graham for putting this list together. Ladies and gentlemen, it was the work of the beautiful man, Christopher Graham. Well, I don't know how that sounded, how that came out. Tubosu says never happening. Tubosu says that fun, but Bobby Green. Yeah. That's Bobby Green. And he says the height difference. I don't know what you're talking about, Tumbosu. All right, so we have a segment that will probably have graphics and intro for. So we'll probably have an intro for this one. It's called Celebrating Under the Radar African MMA Victories Every Week. So these are like African fighters that had fought anywhere in the world that we would sort of like announce that, oh, so person fought and so person won or whatever. So I believe starting next week, singer-songwriter Toby, I beg, do audio music for us. Maybe you just put like some music about like celebrating under the radar African fighters. Then we'll just talk them like news. Okay. First, Burkina Faso's Sanon Sadek defeated Garrett Carlson by decision. Chosen few FC 23 USA. That is on the 7th of October 2023. We probably don't know who these guys are, but shout out to Sanon Sadek. But thanks again, Christopher Graham. I think this is a great idea for a segment. Next, Senegal's Bombardier. I know Bombardier, and I'm pretty sure everybody does.
I know Bombardier.
Bombardier is a former Senegalese wrestler that is very, very big. He defeated Ernest Evander via KO TKO punches first round in Octo'Gônes 2, France. That is on the 14th of October this year. That's it, which is last week. Next, Ethiopia's Khalid Ahmed defeated Walib Larbi via submission, technical guillotine choke. First round finishes as well in Octo'Gônes 2 in France. All right, we've got another Ethiopian. That is Ethiopian's Khalid. Oh, that's the same person. Toby, how many times did you put this thing? Okay. And then we've got EFC Interim Bantamweight Championship fight. South Africa's Terence Balelo defeated Musa Setwape by decision in EFC 108, South Africa. That's last week. Zambia's... Oh, God, what is going on? Okay, here we go. Zambia's Ken Sekeletu defeated Andila Gasa via KO TKO body kick. Round 1 in EFC 108. If we list the EFC card, it's all Africans. Mozambique's Emerson Pedro defeated Rudolph Sekokune by split decision EFC 108 in South Africa. And in another news, Kenya's Pevikal Uwambo Mwambi made his pro debut at One Championship, losing to a decision fight to Uzbekistan's Cameron Ortikov. One Championship Friday nights in Thailand, which was 2 days ago. All right, so I think what we are going to do, guys, just to make this show much more interesting, instead of just naming the names, I would also have like a slide to show the pictures of the fighters as well. So we'll just go through them and talk about their victories. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think it's good.
Oh, no, it's not a bad idea, to be honest.
Yeah, so shout out to Christopher Graham. Yeah, Christopher Graham, again, thank you so much for putting this list together. And shout out to Temba for, again, not fighting, and hence why he is a co-host on this show.
I'm better than that one. Toby,
right? Swear, Toby.
You cannot host a show and be the guy that people need to give energy. You need to give us the energy to keep interest.
Yes, Toby. I was telling you, Toby.
You are joining them, but the look should change. You see, like me, there. I need to remove that. Next week, I must put a poster for fighting at the back.
Yes, like my own.
Yeah, no, even brighter. You see how I do it next week, properly done. We need to make this African fighters show one of the best shows, not just like a living room show. We need to make it one of the best shows.
I agree.
Yeah.
Next time I'm going
criticism, Toby, don't take them wrong. Each one teach one. I am telling you now, you need to come here with the energy, not like the life is stopping on you, my brother. Okay.
I've got Red Bull for him.
Okay, Toby, you probably need a cup of coffee, man.
Yeah, you need to come here and bring and and bring the energy, not the fans must bring the energy, because people who come here, it's about 10 o'clock at night in South Africa, or past 10 or near 11 o'clock. They come here for 2 minutes and they go to bed, you know. We need to come here with energy, keep them awake. Don't be a boring fighter.
Yes. All right, guys. Thank you again for the guys that were engaging with us in the comment
Otherwise, I'll take your
section.
job.
Yeah, Temba is coming for your job, Toby. Scrap Legends, thank you. Tumbosun Oyenuga, thank you. Christopher Graham,
Thank you, boys.
thank
Oh, let me
you.
go run. I need to go train.
All
Okay.
right, Temba, we are
Take
going
care,
to sleep.
Temba.
We have work
I just
tomorrow
follow
on
Temba
Monday.
on Instagram now.
Bless.
All right, guys. I'm gonna end the stream. Make sure you like and subscribe. Do all the good things for us, you kind folks, and